Hello YouTube, this is Captain Nav. I hope you're all doing well. Today in this video we are in Africa, and more precisely in Tanzania, and we are going to fly to Kilimanjaro Airport, Hotel Tango Kilo Juliet. So we are almost approaching top of descent, so we'll reset the MCP altitude to fly level 100, which is the first restriction in the descent, as you can see on the legs page here. And we've got all the arrival set up. It's the IMLAC 1 Alpha arrival, and then we transition towards the RNAV GNSS runway 09. So we'll have a quick look outside. Beautiful African landscape, courtesy of ORBX Global. And as I mentioned, we're gonna fly the RNAV GNSS runway 09, so the VRF is set, minimums are set, and the QNH 1022 is preset. So why flying the RNAV when you have an ILS? The ILS in Kilimanjaro Airport is noted to be a little bit unreliable. So in real, when the ILS is unreliable, you would tend to use the RNAV, so at least you're sure you're not going to lose the ILS during the approach and have to discontinue the approach. So with the RNAV approach, you can solely rely on the aircraft navigation system. So the FMC is all set. We've got the descent page. We're going to set 250 below flight level 130. Remind you, the airport elevation is about 3,000 feet. So if we want to fly 250 knots below 10,000 feet above the airport elevation, then we need to start reducing the speed at 13,000 feet, because the airport is 3,000 feet high. So we've got all the FMC set up, and the legs page, we've got all the waypoints on the IMLAC 1 Alpha arrival. You've got UMTOD flight level 100 or above. If you look at the chart closely, then TESOV 6,500 feet, etc, etc, all the way to runway 09. And then we also have the missed approach procedure in there, with the missed approach altitude 6,500 feet. We've got our VRF set for flap 30 approach, and if we look at the descent page, it's all set up once again, and progress page, go to page 4, and we've got the RNP 0.3 of a mile set, and once again everything shows on the PFD, so we are all good to go. We've got auto brake 2. It's a long runway, we are fairly light, so we can't make the first exit. We need to go and do a 180 on the runway. So there's no need to stop on the first exit. We just roll until we get to the first turning pad, and then do the 180 on the runway and come back to the apron. We are just about ready to start our descent now, and here we are. We've got idle annunciated in the FMA. If you look closely at the PFD, the speed is scheduled to be 269 in the descent, so initially the speed bleeds off towards 269. Then once we get to that speed, the aircraft will start the descent, as you can see just now, and starting the turn over Losin, and then continuing towards Evamu, UMTOD, TESOV, and then join the RNAV procedure. So once again, looking outside, a little lake down there, and in the distance we can guess Mount Kilimanjaro once again, and still a little bit in cloud at this stage. And we've got also on the left hand side of the track there another mountain peak as well, which stands at about 15,000 feet elevation. So here it is there, and we can see that obviously we're gonna be slightly right of it, which is good, because we're gonna be below the peak when we fly a beam. So we're not actually very far from reducing the speed already, passing back level 170 descending, and as I mentioned, at 13,000 feet of flight level 130, we'll start bringing the speed back towards 250 knots. I remind you as well that with high elevation airports, it's usually quite wise to reduce the speed early. If you watch the high altitude airport video on the channel, you'll see why. Here in Kilimanjaro, it's not as vital as why it was in La Paz, but it's always good to take into account the high elevation and reduce the speed accordingly. You can see on the navigation display the mountain peak on the left of the arrival track there is showing, and I'll explain later on a little bit how the terrain display works in the aircraft. We'll have a look outside once again. I think we can spot Mount Kilimanjaro in the background there. And here again, this peak standing up to 15,000 feet. The airport is below the cloud cover there, more or less at 11 o'clock. So yeah, the basically the terrain display will show the terrain in three different color: green, amber, and red. The terrain will show green when it is 2,000 feet or below the aircraft. I will show amber when the terrain is 500 feet below the aircraft or 2,000 feet above, and they will show red when the terrain is 2,000 feet above the aircraft. The GPWS system will give you a caution terrain when you're 40 to 60 seconds from projected impact with terrain, and it will give you a terrain pull up when you're about 20 to 30 seconds from impact with terrain. So it's a fairly good system, and it will obviously help detect any deviation and close encounter with terrain. So we're now reducing the speed towards 250 knots, and we are approaching position a beam that mountain peak, so we can see the peak is already above us, and the elevation on the navigation display is painted in amber, so that means that the terrain is already above us. Flying is not all about watching the instruments all the time, even in these big burns. You can look outside and enjoy the scenery, and that's what we're gonna do again. We can see on the terrain display there, the peak is now showing amber, so it means that it's well above us. Once again, we can see it's really nice, so we'll try to stay right of it. And that's the airport depicted on the arrival chart, not to be confused with Kilimanjaro Airport. And we basically continue the descent to flight level 100 initially. There's no specific altitude restrictions on the arrival chart, but the segment between waypoints Evamu and Umtod is still showing 10,000 feet, so we kind of need to stay above 10,000 feet until after waypoint Umtod. There's a bit of cloud cover in the valley behind these two peaks. The 15,000 feet one, I'm not sure about its name, and then Mount Kilimanjaro, which is about 25 miles northeast of the airport itself. So now we are starting to reduce the speed towards 210 knots, which is just below the flap up speed. So we'll bring some flaps when the speed is a little bit lower, and start configuring the aircraft. The approach path is 3.2 degrees, So we want to be configured fairly early and kind of manage the energy accordingly. We are approaching Umtod, so we'll set the next altitude 6,500 at Tesov. We are still in VNAV path, so that's not a problem. And the speed is slowly coming back, and we'll go for flaps 1 fairly soon. Flaps 1, and we can now open the speed window. We still have VNAV path annunciated, speed also, so 210 knots in the speed window now is displayed, and we're gonna make the 10,000 feet restriction at Umtod no problem, as we are still in VNAV path. And now we can reduce the speed using the MCP speed window. So far so good. The aircraft is still decelerating, which is nice. However, the rate of descent is now increasing a little bit, so we're gonna have to add some more drag at some point and manage the speed. So we'll set the QNH 1022. With the QNH difference, we're now a little bit above the profile, and so the aircraft is trying to catch up with it, and we need flaps 5, and I'll use a little bit of speed brakes as well to control the speed there. See, with the QNH difference, the path is going a little bit below, and we are becoming therefore a little bit high, and the VNAV is trying to dive for the path, and therefore the speed is a little bit neglected there. So we need to control that with more flaps, more drag, and obviously more speed brakes as well. So the speed is now coming back with the speed brakes, and we are still fairly fast. And in the meantime, we'll still use the speed brakes to try to control the speed. You have to still consider as well that you've got the high elevation, which doesn't help, and the wind is coming from the side, so it's not also helping that much. The speed is now coming back nicely, and we are approaching waypoint Tesov, so I will set the next altitude 5,100 at Okrex, and we're just about to establish on the runway center line on the final approach track, so we'll set track 088. Continue reducing the speed. We've got flaps 15 now coming out, and 160 knots we'll try to maintain. So we're still a little bit fast for my liking. We're still not visual with the airport, still a bit of cloud lying around. The cabin is ready, which is good. The speed is still a little bit high. We are approaching Okrex. So we are also now able to set the next altitude at Impec, 4,700 feet. And yeah, the speed for some reason is still not coming back with flaps 15. Just waiting a little bit. So it doesn't seem to be working very well. So we'll go gear down, flap 20, and arm the speed brake, and display the landing checklist. So hopefully dropping the landing gear is gonna add a lot of drag and reduce the speed fairly quickly, as you can see on the PFD. Now approaching IMPEC, so we can set the minima 3,300 feet, and we still have about 180 knots, so we need to wait for the speed to be below 180 knots to extend the flaps to flaps 30. So I'll wait a little bit longer. All is good. Now flaps 30 and set final approach speed. So the speed is coming back nicely. We're now visual with the runway straight ahead. And we've got our minima set 3,300 feet. The landing checklist is now complete, as you can see. And the speed is set at VRF plus 5 more or less. So landing checklist complete, we can close the checklist. And the last thing we need to do once we pass INPEC is basically to reset the missed approach altitude in the MCP. Usually you can do it explained before in other videos a little bit earlier, but I always like to wait for the last waypoint and then reset it just in case it catches VNAV out for some reason. So 6,500 feet is set. Now we still have VNAV path. The speed is good. We can now concentrate on the final approach segment. So looking good, looking outside, looking inside, trying to take the picture of the approach in. Flight director now. And we're now flying the approach manually. Referring to the flight director is giving good guidance. Maybe not all the way to 50 feet above the runway, but quite close to that. Initially maybe up to 200 feet, so we can follow the flight director and also look outside and try to match both pictures, so to say.
1,000.
So 1,000 feet, the missed approach altitude is set, and we are stabilized, all looking good. We can kind of disregard the puppy at this stage. It's showing 3 whites, 1 red. As long as it stays like this, I'm quite happy. And the VNAV path is bang on profile, so we'll just continue flying like this. If there's any major disagreement later on, maybe I'll try to stick to the puppies, but initially I'll just follow the VNAV path and the puppies. The puppies, as you can see, are alternating between 2 whites, 2 reds, and 3 whites, 1 red, so we're not doing too badly actually.
Minimums.
And landing. So you can see again 2 reds, 2 whites. Looking good, trying to establish the center line as well. And at this stage the picture looks good, so we can kind of disregard the puppy and continue flying down. 50 feet.
30.
Start the flare and touchdown. So we'll bring the reversers, lower the nose onto the runway gently and let the aircraft roll. As I mentioned, we can't really do that 120 degree turn on the left here, so we'll just roll to the end and do the 180 on one of the turning pads. So welcome to Kilimanjaro Airport in northern Tanzania. So I hope you enjoyed the video with me today. It's quite a nice approach to fly, and it's fairly scenic as well, so I really enjoyed making this video. I thought it was a good idea to go somewhere a little bit different from the usual spots and take you to Africa and Kilimanjaro Airport. So you can see the turning pad approaching there in the distance. Mount Kilimanjaro is hidden in cloud there, unfortunately. So we'll do the 180 and I'll get back to you once we are entering the apron and show you the airport a little bit. So we've done the 180, backtracked, and now just about vacating the runway and taxiing to the apron. So once again, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it informative and somehow useful. I invite you to go and fly around Kilimanjaro airport. It's a very nice scenery. You can do an online search and you'll find this quite nice freeware scenery for the airport. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write them down in the comments section. And if you like the video, then please give me a thumbs up. It's always good to get some feedback from you guys. And please share the videos with your friends and colleagues, and also on social media. If you're really keen to see more similar content, then please subscribe. There are now more than 400 subscribers on the channel, so the channel is constantly growing, and I'm very thankful and grateful to you guys for following me around in these simulation adventures. So once again, thanks for watching. If you want to stick around, there's a little bonus section on GPWS and the terrain escape maneuver. So if you want to watch all the way to the end, please stay with me. Otherwise, thanks again, and I will see you soon. So here we are now maintaining flight level 110 and pointing more or less straight at Mount Kilimanjaro, which I remind you is 19,340 feet high to be accurate. So at the moment I've got the weather radar displayed on the captain's side, the terrain display on the first officer side. We can see 193. The Mount Kilimanjaro elevation there, showing in red already. Obviously it's about 8,000 feet above the aircraft. And I'll show you a little trick. If you have the weather radar displayed on the captain's side, for example, whenever you get a terrain caution or terrain warning, then the radar display is dismissed and the terrain display then comes on. So it's fairly useful. So in this section I'll show you basically how the GPWS works and how to fly the terrain escape maneuver. So if we look at the first officer terrain display, we can see we're about 10 miles from the terrain at this stage. We're just flying quite happy. Head down, and we didn't notice we had like this big mountain in front of us. So just flying quite relaxed and aware of what's going to happen soon. And obviously, well, we don't really do that in real, but you catch the drift. And this is the perfect opportunity to show the terrain escape maneuver. So we got now the terrain caution. And you can see the terrain display now pops up on the captain's navigation display here. We're still about 5 miles from the terrain initially. The first bit that's of some importance to us, I would say. And now we get the terrain warning, terrain pull up. So we disconnect the autopilot, disconnect the auto throttle, 20 degrees pitch, wings level, maximum thrust, as you can see. Check that the speed brake lever is down, and off we climb. Initially it's obviously a very aggressive maneuver, more than 10,000 feet per minute. We've got a lot of speed initially to bleed off, so that gives us a good rate of climb. But obviously at some point the speed is, as you can see, is already bleeding off, and we're passing now the up speed. But we still need to maintain 20 degrees pitch and fight for a good rate of climb. Even if we get towards the amber band, we still need to get it to climb. You can see the rate of climb has decreased a little bit. We got the radio altimeter now showing on the PFD. We're just about clearing the mountain there. We're getting into the amber band. We got the airspeed low warning. We still need to climb. We can see how extreme maneuver this is. We're now getting into the stick shaker. The aircraft is actually still climbing, which is good. And then we're just gonna somehow level off, gain a little bit of speed again. We are above the terrain now, so it's a little bit better, but we still want to get climbing basically to MSA, which is 21,400 feet. And although we were slightly stalling, should I say, the aircraft didn't descend, it just maintained a little bit of altitude there, and now we're accelerating again. So I hope you find this interesting. It's a good demonstration. If you fly the terrain escape maneuver there from lower altitude and with less initial speed, then you're never gonna clear Mount Kilimanjaro. It's never gonna work. You're gonna go right into the mountain. But in this scenario, we just about managed to clear the top of the mountain, which is good. I think what you need to fly this maneuver is basically not a lot of altitude to gain, maybe up to 8,000 feet, and have a lot of speed in your pocket, so that whenever you start pitching up, you've got a lot of energy to bleed off, and that will allow you to get a good rate of climb. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you soon.